Hello everyone and welcome back to Towergate. It is Towergate day number 706, Thursday, February 28th, 2019. Thank you so much for tuning in. Alrighty, so as I'm coming to you now, it's about 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we really don't have any major news about the Trump-Kim summit. We've gotten the details of the itinerary and what they've done, and they've met, and we've seen the pictures and all that, but they haven't really said much about what's come out of this summit so far, only that they're going to make a joint statement at the end, and that Kim, when he spoke, he talked about the fact that there's been a lot of misreporting and that people need to have patience. And Trump is just basically saying, yeah, well, we expect to have a good meeting and a good talk and that type of thing. So they're really not giving up very much, and we just don't know very much at this point. So I imagine it won't be until tomorrow when they make their joint statement that we actually find out, what has come out of this summit. But I'm convinced there has to be something that will come out of it. I don't think we'll come out of it with nothing. So we'll see. And as I said in yesterday's video, I know a lot of the focus is being put on this issue of, will Trump be able to get Kim to agree to denuclearize? And as I'm not going to go through it all again because I did it in yesterday's video, but if Trump can do that, I mean, he's obviously going to win the Nobel Peace Prize. He'll become the greatest. It'll be the greatest foreign policy stroke in the history of the world. It's a very long shot, and I just don't think that that's the real strategy. Now, for public opinion and propaganda purposes and for all those sorts of things, I'm sure that they'll continue to say yes, they need to denuclearize, North Korea needs to give up the nukes or whatever. And I think that line will continue to be out there, but I don't think there's going to be a lot of pressure there. I think Trump views foreign policy. If you look at Trump, he uses, the way he uses foreign policy, he uses our big economy as his weapon. He doesn't use, the army so much, the military. He has a big, powerful military, and he makes sure that he's got it and would be willing to use it. But that's not the big stick that he uses. He uses the economy as his big stick, and he's been very successful doing that. And I expect I don't expect him to change his stripes at this point. I think his leverage against North Korea is going to be to say, look, we can help you with your economy. We can help you have a more prosperous country. And we need to work on that nuke thing. It's a dangerous situation, something like that. So I think that the most of the emphasis is going to be put on the economy and how that can be used to persuade Kim, as opposed to either give up your nukes or we're going to bomb you. I don't think that that's the approach that Trump is taking. So it seems like he's having a lot of patience on the nuclear issue while he's focusing most of his energy on using the economy as his leverage. It's what he's been doing. I expect that's what he's going to continue to do. So I don't expect that we're going to get a big announcement that Kim is going to agree to give up his nukes. I just don't think that that's going to happen. If it did, it would be extraordinary. But I don't think it's not what I'm expecting. I'm expecting something more along the line of reunification, ending the war, talking about market reforms, talking about doing business, commerce, trade, and these sorts of things, while they continue the discussions on denuclearization. But I don't think that that's going to be the focal point. In other words, Trump's not going to say we get something on denuclearization or nothing happens. I don't think that's the route Trump's going to go. I think he's going to say, let's work on these things and we'll continue talking about denuclearization. And I think that's how it's going to be played by Trump and his administration. So we'll continue to watch and see what happens tomorrow. We'll certainly know a lot more, and I assume that by then we'll have had this final statement by both, and we'll find out what they have agreed upon. So again, that's just my thoughts, pretty much the same as yesterday. Now, as you know, I told Michael Cohen not to go through with that hearing, that it was going to be a disaster for him, and he didn't listen to me. But something tells me that he didn't have much choice. I think some deal was cut that for him to get some kind of leniency, or him to get, there's something that Michael Cohen had to get out of going and testifying to Congress, because he knew he was going to get, hammered. So there had to be something that he thought was worth getting hammered for. Right now, it's not clear what that is, but I'm sure we'll be finding out in the not too distant future. So let's go ahead and cover the Michael Cohen situation. First of all, I want to look at an article that was written in the Federalist today after the hearing. And keep in mind, there's 2 more hearings coming. This was an open hearing. As you noticed today, and I didn't get to watch it all, but I've seen quite a few clips now, and I've read quite a bit about the testimony. You'll notice that the Democrats did not ask one single question to Cohen about the dossier, about the Russia collusion, or any of that. Didn't want to talk about any of that. It was only Republicans that asked those questions. Now, Cohen is going to be appearing in 2 closed-door sessions. One session with the House Intelligence Committee, where you have Adam the Bug-Eyed Fool Schiff, and then you have the Senate Intelligence Committee, and we know what they're all about. So it's these closed-door committees, hearings, is where I think that they're going to talk about the Trump-Russia and all this sort of stuff, or other stuff having to do with corruption or something like that. And this is where I think that the Democrats are hoping to get something from Cohen. They've probably already been promised something from Cohen because they're in cahoots with his lawyer, Lanny Davis. So they probably believe that they're going to get something that they can use for impeachment. And that's what this whole thing is about. It's all about getting an impeachment process, or getting just the exercise of impeachment. Even though it will not succeed, they just want to have the exercise for political reasons. So anyway, let's go through the article in the Federalist today, which is entitled 6 Things That We Learned from the Cohen Testimony. So, number 1, we learned that Cohen nuked the key event of the Steele dossier. And what was that? Well, the Steele dossier claimed that Cohen went to Prague and met with some Russians to orchestrate payments for the plot. Of course, Cohen denied that today, as he has been denying it for the entire time since the accusation has been made. Number 2, Cohen says that Trump did not direct him to lie under oath. Trump did not direct him to lie under oath. There goes your obstruction. Next, Cohen has no evidence of Russia collusion. He certainly doesn't. If there was evidence of Russian collusion, pretty sure Uncle Bob would have found it. Cohen said that Roger Stone, called Trump to tell him about WikiLeaks having Hillary Clinton's emails in July of 2016. Well, whoop-de-doo. Even if that's true, and I'm not so sure it is, but even if it was true, Julian Assange told everyone, tipped off everyone back in March of 2016, and Kim.com actually tipped us off before that. It was no secret in July of 2016 that WikiLeaks had some damaging information, emails on the Rotten Reverend Clinton. So no biggie there. Cohen says he never wanted to work in the White House. Well, that was a lie. There's too many people within the Trump administration, current and former, and you can go down the list of them, who all say that Cohen was really, really pushing for a job in the Trump administration. So for him to say that he never wanted to work in the administration, there's just too many people who contradict that. And of course, we know that Cohen is a liar. Proven liar. So that didn't go over very well, and no one believes it. Even CNN has reported that that's probably not true. Cohen, of course, refused to say that he would not profit from a book or movie deal. Sure, because it's already been rumored that he's going to get some sort of a book or movie deal if he will go in and stick a knife in Trump's back. And so that's what we learned from the Cohen hearings today, according to the Federalist. Now, let's go through some of my thoughts. Well, as I told you when I first started this video, I advised Cohen not to go through with it, that it was going to go very badly. And the net gain for Cohen was zero. But the net loss for Cohen was he picked up, it appears, a new criminal referral for lying to Congress again. Because in the hearings today, he stated that he had various foreign business interests. And when Mark Meadows questioned him on that, his answer, he incriminated himself. Because essentially, he admitted to engaging in foreign politicking, and he's not registered as a foreign lobbyist. Therefore, one of the crimes that Manafort is being charged with, Cohen has not been charged with yet, but now that he's picked up a criminal referral for that, he just may be getting another charge against him, because they are going to make a criminal referral for the lie he told today. Or, if he's telling the truth, well, he either lied and he's going to get a criminal referral for lying to Congress, and I think he told a lot of lies today, or he is telling the truth, and in fact, he was a lobbyist and he wasn't registered, at which point he's going to be charged with lobbying without registering as a foreign lobbyist. So he certainly didn't help himself any today, but let's go through some more things that were very troubling and very telling. Cohen said that he's not paying his attorney, Lanny Davis, to represent him. Lanny Davis doesn't work for free. And who is Lanny Davis? Well, Lanny Davis is a very, very close personal friend of the Clintons, and was many of you, if you're old enough to remember, he was the guy that the Clintons would send out every Sunday morning to defend them back when Clinton was president. He's a very close associate of Bill and especially Hillary Clinton. And here we find out that, so the Hillary Clinton's close personal friend and attorney is representing Cohen. And Cohen's saying he's not paying Lanny Davis. And we know that Lanny doesn't work for free. So who do you think is paying Clinton's close personal friend and lawyer to represent Michael Cohen while he tries to stick a knife in Trump's back and provide the information that could be used for impeachment hearings? The Rotten Reverend. The Rotten Reverend, she's behind this. She's the one, I'm sure, that got Lanny Davis to orchestrate this whole thing. It's the Rotten Reverend Clinton and Lanny Davis and the usual suspects who orchestrated this whole thing. And how do we know it's orchestrated? Well, we know because Cohen told us. He told us. He says that he and his counsel, Lanny Davis, have been coordinating with Adam Schiff, Elijah Cummings, and Jerry Nadler to put together these hearings. So here we have the Rotten Reverend Clinton's close personal friend and lawyer representing Cohen pro bono, and in his own admission, they have been working and coordinating with the Democrats who had the 3 committees that are being charged with bringing the evidence to impeach Trump. It's the Rotten Reverend. That's who's behind it. You can take it to the bank. Lanny doesn't do squat without a directive from the Rotten Reverend. Of course, as was stated in the Federalist article, Cohen denied allegations that were made in the dossier. All of them, including the ones we just found out about. He wasn't in Prague, says he never was in Prague. That was one of the major claims in the dossier. In fact, you take that out of the dossier, you don't have the dossier, because that was the payment arrangement. And Michael Cohen was the one that they said was the point man for arranging the money situation. If you take that out of the dossier, nothing else works. And he's been denying that all along, as has his attorney, Lanny Davis. Cohen did call Trump in his opening statement a racist, a con man, and a cheat. Sounds like Cohen is the racist, the con man, and the cheat. There's no evidence that Trump's a racist. There's no evidence he's a con man. And there's no evidence he's a cheat. Only Michael Cohen's word. And he's a convicted liar. He also says that Trump knew about the hush money payment to Saggy Daniels. Not true. Trump was, like many wealthy corporations and businessmen, they have lawyers which they put on retainer to solve problems for them. They get paid a monthly retainer to just handle things. And it's crazy to think that Trump would order Cohen while he was president to make the hush money payments. He's not that stupid. There's various ways that he could have done this that would not have been illegal. Why would he choose the one way that is illegal? No, Cohen screwed up. He even admitted that he wasn't sure if what he was doing was legal. What kind of a lawyer is he? That if he's questioning whether or not something he's doing is even legal or not, wouldn't he dig into his law books or consult another attorney who's a specialist in the field? Wouldn't he find out whether or not what he's about to do is even legal or not before going ahead and doing it? He also says that Trump has made false statements about the Tower meeting. Well, we know the Tower meeting was a setup, and Cohen knows it too. There's just no there. Cohen obviously has been given some incentive to turn on Trump to save his bacon. And that's basically what this all boils down to, and it's fairly obvious to see. So nothing came out of the Cohen hearings. Now he's going to do these 2 closed-door sessions with the House and Senate Intelligence Committees, where he's probably going to give them something, but probably nothing that Mueller doesn't have. They won't be able to prove it. It's just slanderous type allegations that can't be proven. But Cohen will get that's what he's probably told, that's all you need to do, and we'll take care of you. So he's going to get something out of this. But again, I mean, the only thing that they can possibly do, they know they have nothing against Trump. The only thing they can do is use Cohen to try to bludgeon Trump. And just to have the hearings just for the political theater of it all. That's all it is. It's a show. Just like everything else has been a show with the Democrats since they lost the election. None of it's going anywhere. And I still predict Trump's going to win big in 2020. And if they keep it up, he's going to win in a big landslide. Because they're not winning. And Cohen certainly didn't win today. He lost. The only thing he got out of this deal today was another criminal referral. Now maybe he's going to get, some cash, maybe a book deal, a movie deal or something for doing whatever he was asked to do. But ultimately, if the goal is to take down Trump, it's not going to work. Not Michael Cohen. He has no credibility. None whatsoever. So it was much to do about nothing, but that didn't stop the left-wing media from spending 90% of their time covering the Cohen hearing and 10% of their time talking about the real important issue that was happening today, which is the Trump-Kim summit. They have no time for that. No time for that at all. They only have time for Cohen. That was also orchestrated as well. So there you go. There you go. Well, we talked about this probably 6 months ago, and you're hearing more and more talk about it. This idea that the Dems are trying to abolish the Electoral College. Now, there's currently 11 states that have got on board with this. Of course, Democrats, because they realize at this point that they cannot win national elections as long as they are as far to left as they are. So they want to abolish the Electoral College so that we can have a popular vote. But we've had the Electoral College since our founding, and there's a good reason for it. And if, in fact, this were to be overturned, which I don't think it's going to be, because I don't think they're going to have enough states to sign on to it. 11 isn't enough. They're going to need about 35 states, and I don't think they're going to get 35 states to sign on to getting rid of the Electoral College. I don't think it's going to happen. But let's just say it did happen. Well, if it did happen, the result would be in 20 to 30 years, the United States would break up. There would not be a United States of America. It would lead to a civil war. Because all those states across the country, the majority of them, probably close to 40 states, would simply have no representation. The entire country would be run by New York and California. And the majority of states around the country are not going to allow themselves to be ruled by the policies of New York and California. And it would only take a decade, maybe two, and this nation would be in complete state of civil war. And it would break up. There would be no more United States of America. No Electoral College, no United States. Not for long. It never would have happened in the first place without the Electoral College. That's how we got it. Because the small states said, wait a minute, we're not going to sign on to a deal that gives, New York and trying to think of the name of the state. New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Massachusetts. Those 4 states would have decided everything for the other 9 states. And they said, we're just not going to do that. And that's why they had to come up with an electoral college, and then never would have got them states to sign on, and the Constitution never would have been ratified. That's the simple truth of the matter. Sidney Powell says the entire Russian collusion narrative was made up. Yes, it was. And if the truth comes out, that's what we're going to learn. Of course, we already know that's the case. But the left-wing media refuses to tell the truth, and right now it doesn't appear that, from what we can see of Mr. Barr, that he's interested in pursuing that. We'll just have to wait and see what's going to happen here. But as I've been saying for a very long time, only with public pressure and Trump getting personally involved are we going to expose what Sidney Powell has just stated, that the entire Russian collusion narrative was false, made up. It was a hoax. We all know that. Well, it looks like Twitch McConnell is looking to stab, along with some of his friends, Republicans in the Senate, are looking to stab Trump in the back. Of course, we know that Twitch promised, and other Republicans, promised to back Trump on his national emergency to secure the border if he would sign on to the bill to reopen the government. But now that Trump has signed on to the bill to reopen the government, it appears that Mitch and some Republicans are balking. Now they're not so sure that they can back Trump on the national emergency to secure the border. They're not so sure now. They gave Trump their word before, but now they're getting weak in the knees. Does that surprise anybody? It shouldn't. Well, many of you are following the events that are happening in the UK. We try to follow those things when we can. And there's been a major development in the last 24 hours. It looks like Theresa May and Jeremy Corbyn have folded on Brexit. It now looks like there will be some sort of an Article 50 extension, this 90-day extension. And they're even talking about possibly a second Brexit vote. I really don't see a second Brexit vote happening unless a lot of MPs completely change their positions. But this 90-day delay looks like it probably will happen. And the thing is, what is the purpose of that? Now, if the purpose is to work out the deal so that they can have a exit from the European Union, then that would probably be okay, even though I'm not a big supporter of that. But it's probably not that. It's probably just a ploy. And what's to say after they have a 90-day extension, they don't go for another 90-day extension, and another, and another. At some point, this has to be put to bed. And again, the only people who can do it are the citizens in the UK. It's not going to happen through the UK Parliament, I can assure you. They don't want a Brexit. So, first of all, both the Labour and the Conservative Party are full of traitors and turncoats. This should have a devastating negative impact on both the Labour and the Conservative parties. So we're just going to have to wait and see whether or not the people in the UK are going to tolerate this. At some point, they're going to have to hit the streets. At some point, the people in the UK are going to have to demand that their government follow the law. They had a referendum to leave the European Union, and they need to implement it. And if they continue with these shenanigans, and as far as I'm concerned, we're past the breaking point for me, but I'm not a citizen of the UK. But I'm wondering at what point the citizens in the UK are going to stand up, or if they will stand up. Are they going to allow themselves to be steamrolled like this? It'll be interesting over the next few weeks to watch and see how this is all playing out. But from the very beginning, we've all known that they had no intention of actually following through with Brexit. And I think many people in the UK knew that. But we're going to see here in the very near future what the citizens of the UK are made of. Because they are either going to stand up or they're going to get steamrolled. The Parliament and the government in the UK is not going to deliver on Brexit. They're just not. Unless they're forced by the people. The ball's in the people's court in the UK as far as I'm concerned. I've seen enough from Theresa May, Jeremy Corbyn, the Conservative and the Labour parties in the UK. I've seen enough. I don't need to see any more. I know what this is all about, and I know what's going on, as do many of you. And quite honestly, it's going to come down to whether or not the people are going to tolerate it. And that's where it is. If they're waiting for the government in the UK to deliver, it's not going to happen. That's just my thoughts. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But I bet I'm not. So I watched as much as I could tolerate of this speech by Attorney General William Barr. I watched as much as I could handle of it, which was about 5 minutes. And I'd heard enough. My friends, it does not look good. You can watch the video on YouTube. Just type in the search box, William Barr, first speech at DOJ. Guess who introduced him? Rodenstein, with a glowing introduction. And then after the glowing introduction by Rodenstein, William Barr comes up to the podium and gives incredible praise to Rodenstein. Big praise for Rodenstein. Talks about his distinguished service. Maybe William Barr thinks that running a frame-up operation and a coup on the president is distinguished service. Oh, but he took it one step farther. He actually took credit for Rodenstein's career at the DOJ. Made a joke about it. The fact that he, William Barr, was responsible for Rodenstein's getting started in his career at the DOJ. Spoke glowingly of him. They're good friends. Now, I know Joe DeGeneva is out there saying, no, Barr's the real deal. He's going to take care of business. Maybe. Maybe he said all them wonderful things about Rodenstein and he's going to turn around and stick a knife in his back. I don't know. But I'm really not betting on it. I'm betting, just as I have been since day one, that Barr is just another deep state cover-up artist who is going to say, yeah, I'm going to look into all these things. And then months and 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 months will go by. And eventually some people will lose their patience. And they'll say, are you ever going to look into this stuff? Are you ever going to get to the bottom of this stuff? And he's going to go, oh, yeah, we did. We looked into that. And, I didn't see when anybody broke any laws. I didn't see any crimes. There were some things there that were, not very pleasant with that language that Strzok and Page were using. Didn't like some of the procedures. They didn't follow the procedures exactly, but really there's no real there. It's just, it's business as usual at the FBI and DOJ, and I didn't really find any problems. But thanks for asking. I think he's just another version of Michael Huckleberry Horowitz. Just another layer of cover-up. Another layer of cover-up. But he'll probably come out and say, I want to make a recommendation, though, because the FISA process wasn't followed very closely. We need to fix that. So we need to appoint another person to be a watchdog. We need another watchdog, because apparently the Inspector General isn't enough of a watchdog. The Woods Act was not enough, because they didn't follow that either. The FISA court itself, and the head judge over the FISA court, who's supposed to make sure it's not abused, that wasn't enough. So they'll just have to add another layer, another gatekeeper. That's what they'll do. Yeah, because we know a lot of people are concerned about what happened with those FISA warrants, and probably some things were a little shady there. No crimes, though. No crimes, no. No crimes. But there were some things that probably weren't done the way they should have been done. So we're going to go ahead and come up with create a new position for someone to be the watchdog, to make sure that in the future they follow the policies. That's what we need, is another layer of bureaucracy. Create another 10,000-man department to look over the DOJ and the FISA process, to make sure they follow it. And of course, we'll reach back deep into the deep state and make sure we put someone in charge who we can all trust, to make sure that they follow the rules and the law, because the FISA is too important to lose. And members of Congress will say, well, that's good enough for me. Yeah, that's good enough, Attorney General Barr. Thank you so very much for looking into all that, telling us what happened, sorting all that out for us, and for your recommendation for a new bureaucrat and a new bureaucracy to make sure that this doesn't happen again. Do you know how many times I've seen this act? Why did we have the Woods Agreement? The Woods Agreement happened because Uncle Bob the Executioner got called on the carpet for what? How many? 75 cases of abuse of the FISA court? I remember when the CIA got drug into the Congress and had to give up the family jewels. And they came up with some wonderful ideas. An inspector general for the intelligence community to make sure they didn't abuse the Constitution. And we've got Huckleberry Horowitz to make sure that they don't abuse the Constitution. We've got government oversight. We've got the Judicial Committee. We've got the Oversight Committee. We've got this committee and that committee. We've got so many layers of oversight we can't see. That's how they take care of things in the deep state. Cover it up and create another level of bureaucracy. It's just like 9/11. All these agencies failed miserably, and all the heads of them got promoted. But they said, you know what? We can't be having this again. We can't allow something like this to happen again. Somehow our 17 or God knows how many intelligence agencies that we know about, the FBI, and all these other agencies, state, federal, and local, couldn't pick up on the fact that we were about to be attacked. So what we really need is another gigantic bureaucracy. The Department of Homeland Security, completely new bureaucracy with tens of thousands more of paramilitary types to make sure it doesn't happen again. This is how things work in the swamp. I'd love to say I'm optimistic, but I'm not. Only if Trump gets involved and public pressure is applied will we get the truth and some justice. That's how I feel about it. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow with more Towergate. See ya. Bye.